So in this one, we are going to be reacting to Goresh's ranking the top 10 best characters in the game. August 2025 edition. I am well aware that yours and mine and everyone's top 10 list will be most likely updated by the end of August, because we most likely will be getting an LF next week. But for now, is what we got within Kefla. This is obviously a little bit old. Spoilers, I would not assume Red DBS Frieza, Green Free Cooler, or Red Super Gogeta would make this list anyways, so it makes no impact to where this list will be, what it shall be, and what it is looking like. So let's get into it. Let's skip forward here and get into the details, with it being
at the number 10 slot. But I think these characters in this video is I'm going to be putting a few characters here. Now at the end of this section, I'm going to say who I personally would have at the number 10 slot, but I think these characters are all kind of in the discussion here for being at number 10. And
all debatable number 10 here. Ultra Cell, Ultra Hit, Tien Chatsu, and Full Power Frieza. Personally, I'm off the Cell train, man. I've been off it for a minute. Cell just, he's frail, man. He just be a frail guy. His damage, I mean, he got Fiku a lot of games running around. You got Kaioken a lot of games running around. And you can't even get his potential, where it's like, oh, I want to snipe somebody fast. I do my blast card, I do an ultimate, I get a kill. Like, that just could exist a lot of times prior to KO Guard, the Infinite Revivals, whatever's happening right now. Cell just can't do his job to a correct extent, so I can't see him top 10 personally. The other three, though, Hits, Tien Chatsu, Full Power Frieza. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd probably say Rev UI or MUI. I'm assuming MUI makes this list. I forgot what his list was completely besides Kefla, but if Rev UI is not here, I'd say Rev UI over Cell, but all three of these that are not Cell, I think can make top 10, yeah. So, it really sucks, man. Just thinking about Cell. Just a tough day, but let's skip forward a little bit here just to hear a bit.
He does do a lot of damage.
Summarize
He's
explanation.
Relatively bulky. He's got decent disrupt. He's supporting. He's got endurance null. That's just up all the time. So I think he is actually a pretty effective character right now, especially paired up with Full Power Frieza, the Ultra one.
He's talking about the LF.
I could see this guy getting better if they decide to actually like reintegrate the color purple into the game, because it really isn't like really great purple character in the game. That's kind of a good way to segue into Tien here.
How many months?
A good addition to the Saiyan Saga team. I think
I know, off topic. It's been over a year. This isn't even just a year now. It has been 13 months since we have had a top 3 purple with Ultra Gogeta 4. Since an LF top 3 purple, top 1 on release, it's been 14 months since a top 1 purple has dropped. 14 months for an LF. What are we doing, man? What in the hell are we doing?
Is a very good third character for that build.
Man.
There really are 2 different builds you can go for Saiyan Saga. There's the one with Tien and Chaozu next to the 2 Part 2 anniversary characters, and then there's just the version with the blue Saiyan Saga Goku. I think Tien's value has fallen a little bit. I mean, don't even know if I want to call it fallen a little bit.
You just don't need him as much.
Matchup-wise, you don't really run into that Saiyan Saga version of the team as often anymore. The main reason why...
The thing is, when you fight Saiyan Saga, you're not really even fighting pure Saiyan Saga anymore. Because I'm sure he's going to make the list, and we'll talk about him more there. But, like, A+ Vegeta just doesn't need to be used. It's not like that he's bad, though he's not amazing. He just doesn't need to be used. So if you ever run into anything that's like Saiyan Saga, the most Saiyan Saga thing is Fiku, Kaioken, then Namek. Because why are you going to not run Namek Goku when you can? I mean, you're going to run him over A+ Vegeta. Namek Goku's individually a better unit. KO Guard's a better mechanic. It just wouldn't make sense to not do that. So that pure Saiyan Saga, that means Tien Chatsu lose value because you're not running into that green anymore. That would wall. Vegeta's not doing crazy damage anyways, but wall off Vegeta. There's just no need for him at a peak threshold.
A little bit is because Tien I kind of value a little bit more than the blue Saiyan Saga Goku initially in Part 2, because Tien has better value versus the Solar Flare in particular from Kaioken Goku. And I think you just don't see as many Kaioken Gokus as you did during Part 2. He's still pretty common, but you don't see him as often. And then I just think the blue...
That's a crazy statement, no? I feel like I see Kaioken, I'm just referring to last season, not this current one that just reset. I mean, Kaioken, I'm thinking about 7 out of 10 matches, maybe 8 out of 10 matches he'll be in my matches. Then there'll be like the Stray. I'll give it a 7. And maybe the other 3 to 2 is like Namek Saga Pure. Definitely fighting Kaioken a lot more than anybody else here that is non-Ultra.
Right now is probably poised a little bit better than this Tien and Chaozu. Okay, but Tien and Chaozu being like one of the only few competent purples that exist, one of the maybe the only one that exists right now, is going to give him a little bit of extra value, I think, than some of the other candidates that I could have put on here in the number 10 slot. Ultra Hit, still a very good character, still does a lot of damage. Defensively, he can still do decently, although I think definitely with the release of the Part 3 characters, he's definitely taking a little bit more damage than I'd like, especially from Frieza. The time skip also is still pretty strong. The only problem with time skip, of course, now is when you're facing a team with Namek Goku, which is almost every single match.
Exactly.
The time skip is going to have inherently less value because you can't guarantee a kill with it. But I still
Friendly reminder, the week before Part 2, Hit was like, by everyone's standard, like a 4-5 unit. Like tied with or above Cell. Before Part 2 dropped. Look at Hit right now, a month and a half later, barely making top 10 thresholds. That's how much they screwed over Cell and Hit. Look how low they are. Not even because like the new ideas of PvP, though those don't help. Everything they've done has hurt Cell and Hit to such degrees that is so unnecessary. It is actually just bewildering. Every single thing that happened during Annie hurt Cell and hurt Hit since Part 2 dropped, and it's just crazy.
Being able to kill somebody, quote unquote, kill somebody, activate the KO guard with Hit's time skip is pretty strong, and then
red
opens up the rush for later parts of the match. So I think Hit is still pretty good, but clearly when every single team now has like AoE indestructible, it just becomes a little bit harder to find immense value in this character. And last but not least, Ultra Cell. If I had to pick any of these 4 characters to put at number 10, I think I probably would side a little bit with Ultra Cell, but I think any of these characters you can kind of realistically put at the 10 slot. I
wonder why I'd side with Cell.
Cell is just still a very strong offensive character.
Sure.
Again, compared to characters like Ultra Frieza, Namek Goku, like he's, you know, the character's 5 months old at this point, the Cell, but I still think he can do some pretty good damage. Ultimate is still one of the hardest hitting attacks in the game. In fact, it might just be still the single hardest hitting attack in the game. This Ultra Cell's ult with his like full unique gauge up and stuff like that.
KO guard.
Obviously, the big issue with this character is defensively, he is very, very fragile at this point. I mean, we talk about numerical power creep during this anniversary, and that is probably the single biggest thing that's changed. You know, comparing some of these older characters to newer characters that are released in the past 2 to 3 months, is the damage guard and damage inflicted numbers are just so wildly different. You take a look at the Cell, he's got like 70% damage stuff like that. It just doesn't cut it anymore.
I understand what you're saying with Cell. Again, I'm not considering a top 10, and I think bottom tier lists really are just nothingness. 8 through 10, I think, is just a 0 factor. In actual PvP, frankly, if it's not the top 3, it doesn't really matter at all in PvP right now, but it's just like, I don't even think he does his roles well, man. Like, I just rather full power Frieza. This LF full power Frieza, despite not even having cover null until he gets a green card. I just think his synergy within the Ultra is just too well off. And I think, while LOE is not a perfect team, clearly there is always a lacking third. I just think there's a better feeling when you're running full power Frieza LF instead of Cell. That's just from my experience. It's not that much experience with them, and I've had way too much shitty experiences with Cell, so I'm probably biased, but I gotta get through this Cell here. Oh, Krillin. All right.
Number 10 on the list. We're gonna have 9 characters above him here, but you know, probably falling off at a slower rate than I think most people would think. But that's gonna be number 10 here. Let's move on to number 9. All right. So number 9 is going to be
Krillin. I'm trying to think of my own. I think I had 10 tied with MEY and Rev UI. That's what I had there, which I have to assume MEY is higher. I don't know if Rev UI makes this list. Krillin, I think, was 8. So 8, 9, kind of same threshold to Mark. Not really too much differential. Again, 8 through 10, I really don't care for or to even feel the need to discuss in depth of craziness. So, I mean, this one's 9, mine's 8. Yeah, okay, sure, we'll move on. Krillin's a good support. People like to say the best team in the game is Krillin and Double Ultra. I don't know about that. Like, I guess you can compare it to like Daima. You know, it's like Mini Ku, and then you had Daima 4 Ku, and then you had Ku. That's like Ku is Krillin, right? That's kind of the role we're taking here. Daima 4 Ku is Namek Goku, and then Mini Ku is Frieza. And like, I get the concept, but I don't know, man. I think Krillin's so useless on his own individual damage when Ku was doing really good damage for what he was as a support unit. I think Krillin's individuality holds him back to such a high degree. I mean, Ku was in top 3, top 4 discussions, right? Like that's how good he was on damage, as well as doing his annoyance and his support and all his bullshit. But to call it the best team in the game with it being double ultra Krillin, and it's like, why wouldn't I just run the best 3 units in the game, which is Kaioken, Namek Goku, Frieza? Why would I not just run that instead? What is my loss of running that team? I can't think of one. Besides, I have less support, but then I have a better individual unit by 500 leagues. I don't think Namek Saga's best team. I hear it a lot. I'm well away from that. Maybe it's the second or third, but the outright best, it definitely would be the part 2, part 3 guys combined. Wow, we are really
too
on
high
for a long time
similar
here.
instance,
Okay.
too high to not have him on.
So
here.
let's go.
I'm gonna put
Into
him
number 8.
Let's move on to number 8. All right, so number 8 is going to be Blue
Fiku.
Zenkai Saiyan Saga Goku.
I think he's actually pretty low here. I want to hear his explanation for this, but Fiku, I would have, what was he at? He was tied with me for, well, it's not that bad. I had him 6-7 tied with A plus Vegeta, so you could have Fiku 6 or Fiku 7. I think I had Fiku 6. Yeah, Fiku was 6. A plus Vegeta was 7. I think this is implying that MEY is going to be higher, because I do remember MEY being, like, discussed on this. But, okay, well, let me hear this, because I'm curious why he's
to Krillin. This character by himself is not really doing a ton on his own. But he's providing pretty good support. He's decently bulky. He's got the disrupt. He's got the healing with his main ability into ultimate. Subcount reduction with the green. Subcount reduction with the main. Overall, he's got a lot of tools to assist him in what he wants to do for pretty much any Saiyan team, or just the Saiyan Saga team that he was originally designed to be used on. Pretty good partner for all the other Saiyan Saga characters, the Vegeta, the Goku, and just overall, I think he's just a pretty solid character all around. Just, you know, kind of like a modern supporting character, which we don't really have much of besides, like, it's really this guy and it's Krillin. Those are the 2 supporting modern characters that exist in the game. Did a really good job with this character's unique equipment. I don't really have much else to say about this guy. He's just, I mean, you guys know what this guy does at this point. He's just
very bland. I will give him that. There's not much you can
say. Solid in what he's doing with the supporting role. Damage, I guess, could be an issue, and the fact that he doesn't really get easy cover null outside of using his main ability is kind of a problem, I guess. But I
don't even care about his cover null, frankly, because he does pseudo lock on his entry. So you click a card, and then what's your whole goal of this character? You swap out, you heal, and then you're supporting. Okay, that's the whole goal of him. So no cover null on entry. Like, I thought it was an issue at first. When I saw his play, I was like, oh, what the hell are you going to do? Just get cover changed. No, you just pseudo lock, go to Namek Goku, go to Kaioken, go to this, go to that. Just get the fuck out of the way. Do your job, take hits, swap out, get the fuck out of the way, and rinse and repeat. I think he does his role very well. And if we're saying Krillin, or rather Fiku does no damage, Krillin really does no damage. Like, if Fiku does 10% health in 2 cards, Krillin does like 4% health in 2 cards. And that's being generous, because Krillin hits like shit.
Don't really think I'm going to knock him too much for that, just because his role is mainly just to be there to support the team. That's what he does, and I think he does a good job of that. So, Blue Zenkai Saiyan Saga Goku, number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Okay, number 7 is going to be...
Oh, wow. It is rather impressive, by the way, from Fiku, because we do have full power Frieza in the game. And again, I don't consider A plus Vegeta some big threat, though he is obviously green. It is impressive that that blue 1% unit that does he even have defense neutral? I don't think he does, at least to my recollection. The fact that he's even in top 10 when the best unit in the game is a green, it is a bit crazy for a 1% to do that. Like, that is a real 3 for 3. Like, that is impressive. It's not even like a cope 3 for 3. Like, that's how you make a real 3 for 3 happen on a character. Red Super Gogeta is kind of like this hesitant 3 for 3 right now. Fiku, though, that is a perfect 3 for 3 of any unit in the game. Like, you'd be lucky to ever experience that in a unit's fucking longevity, because that does not happen often. UI here, I'm very curious, because again, he is 10A and 10B for me, so he's barely top 10 for me. Him being a victim to Frieza does definitely not help him.
Transforming Master
I definitely have
Ultra
Fiku
Instinct
over this
Goku. This character So we got Kefla. Kefla is the most recent addition to the game. I don't
I
really
forgot
know if
Kefla
Kefla
exists.
has a huge influence on how good or bad this guy is, right?
Probably doesn't help.
You can run Kefla next to this character. I don't
above.
think that's her best team. I don't think that's her best setup.
No.
But this Goku's best setup probably includes Kefla. So it's a little weird there. Kefla
That's not a
obviously
good
is
thing,
absolutely
by the way.
best at this
It's not a
character. Same thing
compliment.
with Ultra Full Power Frieza. So this is not particularly a great meta for this character. There's so many strong green characters just running around everywhere right now. And the main reason why is purple is not very good. I think if Evolution Blue Vegeta was made to be probably what he needed to be, which was just a straight up tank defensive god character next to this guy to cover for the green parade of insane units running around, then this guy would probably see a lot more play right now in Universe.
Or if we didn't drop Yellow Ultra, Yellow Ultra, Yellow Ultra as the last 4 Ultras. That could have also been a little bit helpful to everything here and made purples, even if they were weak, not as shit, because there was three Yellow Ultras within the last 4 Ultras. Just throwing it out there. If we did have that, maybe we'd have purples.
Reps as a team would be
Even if they are
better,
subpar.
but
they'd be
unfortunately that
much
is
better
not
than they
the
are
case
now.
here with the Universe Reps team.
They
And
were
outside of Universe Reps,
fucking
you can
Yellow
kind of run
Ultras.
him on Saiyans.
Crazy.
You can run the I've seen people run the triple anniversary Goku setup with Namek Goku and then Red Kaioken Goku. So this guy,
yeah.
that can
this guy
definitely
just
work.
does nothing
You
on
can
most
even
teams.
run like
That's
double
it.
blue if you want to be really adventurous. This guy next to the blue Goku, the Saiyan Saga one we just looked at.
Blue. They're
When it comes
crazy.
to this guy's usefulness, I think he is definitely good enough as a Part 1 headlining character. It's just a pretty rough environment for him. But even with that being said, I think he's good enough to make the list here at number 7. So that does say, I think, honestly, more about how good this character is than, kind of like the unfortunate spot that he's been put in due to the lack of purples and overabundance of greens that exist right now. So I'm going to have Transforming Master UI Goku at number 7 here. Let's move on to the next.
I mean, I just don't see anything within him right now. I think about it again. I'm just thinking, why not just run Fiku instead? I'm supporting. It's going to be more consistent than this guy dying to a death beam or getting fucked by a lock-in or whichever fucking bullshit way. Kaioken does his green card solar flare after 5 counts, and this guy's solar flare stun locked, blue card one-shotted. Like, I've seen so many ways this unit to go on out, even with type advantage on his entry, and I'm just like, what the fuck is he going to do for me if I try to use him? Everything they have recently dropped, including Kefla, I guess, because why the fuck is she green, has just been painful to this character. So, no, I can't see him here. Again, I'd just rather have Fiku. That didn't really even explain much. That would be like, oh yeah, this is why. Because individuality, well, individually, still going to get fucked. That triple Goku team is a nothingness compared to XYZ team. You double blues, you're fucking psychotic to try to run that. There's just nothing for this character to me, man.
All right, I'm going to have a shared spot here at number 5
Apeless
/ number
and
6.
USV tied. That is interesting. I believe Apeless was, what did I say, 7? Tied 6-7 for me, so that's fine. USV was number 4 for me, so that means Kefla's number 5 for me, which I'd like to think. Wait, this is 6 and 5, so Kefla's 4 here? Oh, wow. 4. Wow, that's great. Wow. Above USV? Damn! All right.
So we're coming in here with the reviving Saiyan Saga Vegeta and Ultra Super Vegito. It's kind of tough for me to really differentiate between how good I think both these guys are when compared to each other. So Vegeta, I mean, you guys know how both these guys work, but I'll talk more about Super Vegito probably because he's the new addition to the list. Vegeta here is just a very solid all-around character. I think his damage is pretty good. His defenses have gotten a little bit worse. That's just because we've gotten more modern.
Damage isn't that great. He just combos for a good bit. Don't know if we correlate these two. If I'm looking at great damage, I'm looking at Kaioken's bursting because he's transforming. He just goes fucking nuts, especially after gauge pop. This guy, he just combos good.
Releases
which is fine.
recently. Kefla, Super
not
Vegeta
damage
does
for
decent
card.
damage. We have the Part 3
Bursting.
Ultras. And even against mirror match Saiyan Saga teams, potentially just like all-purpose Saiyan teams, Sun Family teams, you can take a lot of damage. But this is a character that I think all around does just have the tools necessary to compete with the best units. Right? He's got some ways to combo for a long periods of time. I really like the thing I think that I like the most about this character is his ability to reset his hand when he uses 4 cards. And the reason why that's pretty well balanced and well design, I think, with this character is because this guy has ways of refreshing his Covenant, right? He gets Covenant when he uses a strike or a blast card for the first time after entering the battlefield. And then when he uses a green card, he can actually reset his Covenant, which you're going to have an overabundance of greens, especially on a Saiyan Saga team with Yajirobe on the bench. So it is pretty easy to just have very long, extended combos with this character, which of course is going to be able to feed into him filling up his unique gauge multiple times, which is going to increase his damage and damage guard.
The issue with Vegeta that I run into, because I hear all this, I'm like, yeah, no, this sounds correct, is in play, you just won't be comboing with him, because you'll never have a sequence where you're like, oh yeah, Vegeta in his pre-revival or even post-revival state, he's going to be comboing longer, and, well, he is going to combo longer. He's going to be comboing more damage than Kaioken, then Namek Goku, then Full Power Frieza, then that character, then that character. The others just do better damage in less cards, which is just a better bang for your buck setting for yourself. So, like, yeah, great, he can do all these cards. Yeah, he can get all this shit going for him. Awesome. But, like, why would I do that when I could just have someone else do less cards and it does more damage and I don't have to worry about as much bullshit going on? I mean, it just feels more effective to not combo with this guy if you have him, unless you're in a setting of, oh, okay, I have Feek who I could swap to Vegeta and get a few cards out before my combo inevitably ends. Like, sure, that's when you do it, but, like, if you're going for Feku, Saiyan Saga Goku, Saiyan Saga Vegeta, okay, I have two options, go to Vegeta or go to Goku. Oh, God, this is a green unit I'm fighting Full Power Frieza. What do I do? What do I do? I'm going to Kaioken. I'm always going to Kaioken. And I know Kaioken's above him, but that's the whole point. Vegeta doesn't get his combo potency going if you never go to him, but there's never a point to go to him over Kaioken, which would be his best roster. So that's like the disconnect here for me with Vegeta. Like, yes, he does have this potential, but there's no necessity for it, so it doesn't really exist as common as you'd like it to. It's kind of like Evo. You have to build them up, and it's like, okay, why am I going to build up Evo if I just had an MUI right next to him? Just stupid example, but an example. I have Kaba next to him, and it's like, Kaba's burst is fucking insane. Why am I not just going to use Kaba instead? If it's neutral, they swap. I go type neutral, whatever. Why not just use Kaba instead? Like, that's the whole argument there. There's just a better unit that's run alongside this character that I would just rather use them if I'm going to do damage. And that's why you will never see his full build-up as Vegeta in most matches, because you just don't need it. You have someone else there that's doing more.
The rest of the match, you can combo.
Well, yes, Kaioken is better, but it just hurts Vegeta that Kaioken is better.
Comboing for long periods of time. Cycle healing in through the blue Saiyan Saga Goku. You can get Tien and Chaozu involved as well. But overall, I do think this Vegeta looks pretty good still. The revive is just a really well-aging mechanic. Now, it can be a little bit gimped, especially versus Namek Goku with his lock-in potential, but I mean, yeah, I'm not really going to fault Vegeta too much for that, just because every team is susceptible to that. It's just a really insane ability that Namek Goku has.
Other things exist that are better off than Vegeta.
Equipped to deal with most of the better units in the game. So Super Vegito, definitely a much more effective tank bulk character than the Saiyan Saga Vegeta. And one of the reasons why I would personally value Super Vegito this highly, because I think there's a lot of people who probably would put him lower on their personal lists. And, I mean, this character does definitely have a...
Frankly, I've seen a lot of people... Almost every list I've seen, honestly, has been like, Vegito, minimum, top 6. I don't think I've ever seen a list so far that's had Vegito lower than top 6. And if I have, I'd be shocked, really.
Huge, glaring issue with Covenant. Covenant is the major issue with this character. He enters the battlefield... doesn't have Covenant very consistently. You can definitely get it active. He's got the same Covenant condition as Red Beast Gohan does, where an ally has to be hit by a card for this guy to get
I'm pretty sure Vegito's is only 10 counts.
Of course, it also counts for himself.
And Red Beast 15 counts.
It's just not a very... Like, once you use this character, you'll realize it's not a very consistent condition. And then something else that isn't really super noticeable is his unique gauge is, like, kind of just a throw-in thing that this guy has. It's not really something that makes him stand out or anything like that.
You know. It does get covered
to, like, stall for an extra second or two and do some damage in return. But the thing that makes this character stand out over basically every other character in this top 10 is this is the only character right now that we have since they started their new design philosophy in April that is essentially a designated tank. There's no other designated tanks in the entire game besides this Vegeta.
Vegeta was made... They've done this in the past. You could literally just look at the stats and then look at the kits. I think Ultra Broly's a melee type, right? I believe he is. And his gauge is all taking hits, so it's like you would think he'd be defensive type, so he has higher defense stats when he drops. So they gimp what they are as a typing in battle, not their literal color, but what their typing in battle is, so they could gimp their stats one way or another because they think they'd be overtuned or undertuned or whatever. They most likely overtuned. So Vegeta did the same thing. They said, okay, defense type. So now his Strike and Blast are really bad. He comboed for a long time on release, right? He still can combo for a good minute if he gets some good settings. And guess what? They gimped his stats to make him defense type. So Vegeta was never intended. On release, he was never a tank. No one treated him like a tank. No one thought he was a tank. But he's called a defense type. Now, this Plat, which I get makes sense for what he is, but for what he was, he never was a defensive character. Now he is intended to be one. So it's kind of weird how they went and folded essentially for that premise when his entire being, when he first dropped, was, I just want a combo. I want a combo, debuff, combo, debuff. He would out-damage combo comp with his debuffs. That's how strong Vegeta was on his damage setting, despite the gimped stats of being a defense type. So he kind of got the short end of the stick there, because if he was melee, this Plat would be a lot more offense-based. Maybe he would be worse on the list right now, honestly, but you would see damage where you most likely aren't seeing right now, despite him being double rank above the most teams, because LF Bardock, LF Forku, you know.
So that, I think, gives him a lot of extra value. For my recent God rank grind, I'll talk more about this team once we get to the Kefla position, but Super Vegito, Kefla, and Namek Goku as like the ultimate stall timer count team.
Vegito, Kefla,
this guy is basically the crux of the defensive end of that team. This guy having to disrupt the lock-in. Remember, this guy's equipment, when he goes, when this guy's sub counts in or cover changes in against the opponent, he not only lowers the enemy's ki by 50, but he's locking the opponent in for 3 counts. That is huge, right? So what you would want to do with that team, and again, you can go look at that video I posted,
so consistently
and
swap
pretty much
to keep
win every single match.
debuff their card draw speed.
Anti-meta team,
Destroy card with Kefla.
98% win rate against the Frieza Saga team with that team. I specifically designed that team to do well against the whole reason why it's a stall team is because you're not killing that Frieza Saga team. You can't really do that. But the entire purpose behind the team is you live to timer count, and then Kefla just does all the damage. And a big kind of pillar in that team that allows you to live that long and not die is Super Vegito. What you want to do is you want to basically throw in all of the other characters to get their disrupts off. Remember, Kefla's destroying a card, lowering card draw speed. Namek Goku's lowering card draw speed, destroying cards. And then you throw Vegito in, lower their ki, lock them in, and that's the end of the combo. Vegito subs in, heals himself. Vegito gets hit once, heals himself after the attack is over.
Has some cover null to keep going.
You're ready to go. You got your cover null up. You're ready to go back in action and kind of just do your thing with this character. So
I get where he's going with this. So I understand it. The Vegito to Vegeta thing, again, I would just put Vegito a bit higher. With what he's talking about here, Vegito is sounding like the second best unit on the team. Arguably better than Kefla in spots because, well, the defending role is more important than the offensive role, right? There's times you will have to say that. There's times you won't, but there's times you will. If a team is meant to be this defensive juggernaut thing, you do need damage eventually, which is where Kefla could slot in for that. But if you do need defenses in a setting and you're playing for that setting, Vegeto's going to make that a lot easier for you. So, yeah, no, A+, whatever, fine, 6, 7, whatever the hell it is here. And Vegito, I would just have above Kefla, and I'm pretty sure Kefla would be next, so let's just get into the next and see where she is. If it's not her, I'd be very confused. And okay,
I kind of feel like in the meta right now, both of these characters are kind of in like a similar position, so it's tough for me to really separate these characters here, so I'm going to have them share.
I would not put A+ in the same spot as you guys,
but
that's all right.
At number 4, we have LF Super Saiyan 2.
So again, I'd swap Vegito with Kefla, but let me hear what his Kefla thoughts are.
A very, very strong addition to the game here.
Just want to say, only content creators I've seen respect Kefla. Nobody that's not doing content has respected Kefla. Like Twitter shit and all this other media that exists. I've seen everyone disrespect Kefla, saying she's not even top 10. But Goresh gives a top 4 Kefla, and a lot of people have been saying like, oh wow, her damage is crazy. Well, I knew this already from the beginning. Bitch, you didn't say shit. You were slandering her. But every time there's a content creator that's like, Kefla's this, Kefla's that. This tier list drops. So many people are just on the Kefla ride now. It's like, Yeah, you know, it's just goofy. It's just goofy. But like people say, a tier list drops. Their opinion just released. But here's your opinion. Top 4 Kefla.
The first
I'd still swap
post
Vegito
7th anniversary release. Very strong character. I think I really.
I've heard there's a higher
like
placement that
the
Omega
design
Shenron got on release
character
too.
is pretty
I think Omega was
one-dimensional.
like
She's
6,
just
7.
very offensively
Which there's two
dominant.
godly purples, to be
But
fair.
once you get her started up, she actually can be decently defensive. I don't want to say too good because it gets to a point where Goku can just come in and like rush and stuff like that. But I really.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, hold on. Like, trust me. My Kefla has lower stars. She's only 6, 7, whatever she is. And, she has good sustain, is what I'll be able to say. She can be defensive. I've seen it where, because she heals, I think it's like 30%, or maybe it's 20, whatever. But they do a blue or an ultimate or some big move, essentially. She heals a lot, so she'll most likely live. Like a strike, Goku into a blue or ult. I've lived those a billion times over from like 10-star Gokus and up. And I'm just like, oh, okay, great job, Kefla. So I imagine at high stars, she actually is pretty beefy. Again, her sustain is more of her attraction than her
Kefla. She's really
tanking.
Powerful in the role that she's specifically designed for.
She's just a faster
and
Evo in my eyes.
She fits that role on the stall team that I talked about. And that's really the team that I'm going to be focusing on evaluating her on, because that I think is pretty easily her best team. It's, again, I'll reiterate, this character, Ultra Super Vegito and Ultra Namek Goku. You build Namek Goku and Super Vegito to be just purely defensive.
I mean, I agree with Namek
all
Goku.
Defensive equips, double Zenkai buff them with Bardock and Gotenks. Or I guess double Zenkai buff Vegito with Bardock and Gotenks. Goku gets one Zenkai buff with Bardock. And then Kefla gets a Zenkai buff. I use the green Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because I'm prioritizing the bit of extra defense. But you can also use like Revival green UI.
I guess the higher stars, this would be our best team.
This character
maybe.
essentially carries the damage of that team completely,
sure.
And then the roles of both Namek Goku and Vegito are to support and provide defense, and the KO guard is just kind of looming in the background while you do all those other things. Of course, Vanish Restoration, this character is very strong, but I think the one thing I want to mention with this character, and this is definitely going to be, I think, a pretty big point of discrepancy between the way I'm ranking the character and probably the way that many other people are ranking the character, is I would definitely classify Kefla as a very star-dependent character. Kefla, while good offensively, if you got her at lower stars, like, 5 stars, 7 stars, even maybe like somewhere close to like 9 stars, I would even consider to be a little low for this character, because she can get completely crushed on the defensive end if you don't have her with a bit of extra stars.
I don't disagree fully. I've had my Kefla die very fast, obviously. But I don't... He just named a team that's fully bulky, and that's the whole point. That team's fully bulky, so what do I give a shit if her stars are high or low? She's still doing good offense at low stars. I mean, that crit shit goes crazy. When she gets her gauge, she's critting like crazy. She's just doing like... I think it was like a 12-star Kaioken. I did 2 strikes with Kefla. That motherfucker's at like 30% health. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? It was just strike crits. 2 strike crits off gauge. I'm just like... Bro's he's on death's door. He's knocking. I'm just like, this is 6-star fucking Kefla. What the fuck just happened? It's not even a glazed Kefla. It was just a normal ass team. So, star dependent in her one aspect. On damage though, nah, definitely not. Trust me.
So I think it is. Really,
I would know
really
I have her at the lower star threshold.
One thing that I found to be really, really effective on this character, actually, and this has actually saved me multiple times, is this ability all the way at the bottom of her unique ability. Heal, right? When on battlefield, an enemy activates special move Ultimate Awakened Arts or Rising Rush, she's healing 30%.
I was right, 30.
That is a lot. I've had instances where Kefla is locked in by Namek Goku. Namek Goku hits Kefla with like 2 strikes, goes for a blue card to finish her off, and then unfortunately she heals 30% plus all the other additional healing she's getting from like HP restoration, amplifications, and elsewhere in her kit and her equipment, and she doesn't end up dying to the blue card. And that's that's actually been a thing that I've seen multiple times. So I think that's a pretty effective part of her kit in terms of her being able to survive those big attacks. And then the other thing I really want to mention that makes her extremely powerful offensively, I don't know if I'd go as far to say as this Kefla is a stronger offensive character than full power Frieza, just the active gauge is too strong. But when it comes to going band for band with the strongest offensive characters in the game, this character is right there. She is
on
up
cards.
There for sure.
She is.
When she has her release type gauge, she not only has card protection for the entire time, she's also got...
The whole intent of that is so she can combo Kaioken, by the way. He is the only one right now that is every fucking match, or at least most matches, that's showing cards on gauge. So you get her gauge, you spam. That's it. You get her gauge, you start fucking spamming. Because you can't get your cards destroyed.
Attribute downgrade nullification. And the reason why that's so important is because, especially when you're going up against the Frieza Saga team, there is so much cost increase debuffing going on.
Fuck over
Krillin cost increase debuffs. Frieza cost increase debuffs. Namek Goku is lowering your card draw speed. Even like Kaioken Goku lowering your card draw speed if they're running the Kaioken Goku variant of the Frieza Saga instead of the Krillin variant. So the fact that Kefla is just simply immune to all of those things and has double card draw speed
it
and
saves her, frankly,
the entire time with all the ridiculous damage, she's stacking damage, able to feint with her blue card. This character is very difficult right now to stop. And so I think that's a huge point of value.
I agree with all this, yet I'll still say I think Vegito is above her. I think his supplementation of living longer does have more impact in a match than anything. And is the versatility better with Vegito? Maybe he's more versatile because in the sense of Namek Goku existing, and they're both going to be double Zenkai buffed by the same characters. But yeah, no, very good unit. I mean, I agree. Kefla should be at least top 5, and Kefla right here is number 4. So we'll peep through. I assume the top 3 is going to be what the top 3 usually is. Oh, Kaioken number 3. I have it where it's Kaioken 3 is changeable number 2. Namek Goku number 2, and then Frieza number 1. Yeah, this is no shock. I'm not. This is why I spent so much time on the other part of the video of everything else, because I know the top 3. It's not fucking rocket science, right? You all know the top 3. And I don't know where these top 3 are ever going to fall down. It's going to be brutal. I mean, Kefla being, for most people, respected, at least that I've seen on video here, respected to be such a good unit to be in this threshold. Again, this is higher than Omega Shenron did on initial release, and Omega Shenron was like really revered as like, wow, he's actually doing something against UG4 one-shot and Ulton drop combo kill. And given he could still get Ulton drop combo killed Omega Shenron a year ago, in the Kefla slot here, he still was, what, I think he was like 6'7" initially. I don't think he, I mean, he couldn't beat fucking top 2. It was UG4 and Ulton, right? No fucking way. But he had to be at least 6. So Kefla being somewhere above that for a lot of people, I mean, people were initially looking at her like, wow, what the fuck's the point of her? Clearly a lot, right? It's a lot of damage. She just does fit in that same threshold as a lot of units, though, right now, where everyone is just a B tier to the A tier. The A tier team is Frieza, Namek Goku, Kaioken. All right, that's the A tier units right now. The top tier. But there's a B tier category that people fall into, and it's like Kefla / Apeless Vegeta. I guess you could more say Kefla than Apeless Vegeta, frankly, because Kefla's wanting to do what Frieza does, right? Just a lot of damage, and she does a lot of damage, so does Frieza. Then the sub option for Namek Goku would be USV, and then that third character would be the red unit of Kaioken, and it's like, okay, here's Red Gogeta now, or Apeless Vegeta. And it literally is just an A tier, B tier team with the same elements that are coexisting in the game right now. And it's not even saying like, oh, these units are bad because they're worse than the top 3. No, but it's also, that's the big gap that exists between Frieza to USV, Namek Goku to USV, Kaioken even to USV. Despite them being 2 placements apart, it's just the gap of what their kits do is so vast. Kefla's kit is not comparable to Kaioken's in any regard of goodness. Yes, you can combo along. Kaioken can literally destroy everything if he's on a team that's going for him. Kefla can do the same thing, but it's much more of a difficult aspect to do. She's not going to tank infinite combos like Kaioken can. She's not going to heal everything off. She's not going to get this extra damage guard. She's going to struggle comparably to Kaioken in those spots. And the same goes for Kefla, who's right below these two, to the Ultras. That's how good it is, man. That's just how good the top 3 is. But I like this list for the most part. Obviously, those 10 through 8s, they're all going to be debatable. It's going to be some throwaways because the next list, they're not going to be talked about, right? If you're a 10 through 8 right now, you might not even be mentioned within the next list. Maybe you'll get a resurgence one day, but it ain't going to happen probably soon enough. Or you'll get lucky enough and get bumped up because they release this stupid element to help that character, which I doubt will happen. But let me know what you guys think of the Goresh top 10 list and my reaction to it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.